consists of two files, main activity, or you can change the words main with any other, because it depends on what are you doing and how many activities we need. Every activity has two files. Something activity, which is the code, Java file, and the design file is activity something. And if you notice here, the XML file must the name be in lowercase. It's not allowed to use any capital letters. You can't. The XML file must its name always in lowercase. If we want to have a look at the activity XML, just click it here. It shows you the design side and we have a code side, source. Code, I don't mean the Java, no, I mean here. We have the preview, the design. If you look down here, you have design and what? Text. What is the text? The text is XML code. XML code which will be generated automatically while we are doing the design. The design here is as any other software. We have library, object library, or we can call it components, component palette, and we have the preview here. We can drag and drop. While we are dragging and dropping, the text here will keep growing because every touch you are doing here, there is a code must be written here. In most of cases, we don't need to come here, but sometimes we do. Because sometimes it's faster to change properties than changing them in the design side. Where is it here? Here we can see the main activity, which is the Java code. Where is this file? This file under resources. If you look here, we have res here means resources. Under resources, we have drawable, layout, mipmap, values. Drawable and mipmap, especially for pictures, we can use them to put images here. The layout is where we can find the XML file. So if any time, if the XML file from here is closed and it's closed, you need to open them, you can find the main activity, the Java code under Java and the name of the package. The XML file, or if maybe you have more files, you will find them under resources, under layout. We have here values. Values, when you are creating a big project and you will use colors. You can use colors, by the way. You don't need this file, but it's better to use this file if you have a special kind of colors. Because here in the design view, when you want to change the color of text, change the color of background, change the color of any component, you can directly through the properties or the attributes you see here, attributes. If you click any component, you can get its attributes here. You will find the color here and you can change it. But sometimes we have like special colors, or maybe we have color scheme, like we are creating an application for business issues. So our business or the business we are serving, they have a logo. The logo has like 3 colors, and that is our color scheme. We can never use any other color. We have to use any of these 3 colors. So we start with defining colors here, especially when we are talking about non-standard color. We go to the colors to define colors. Colors, each color has hexadecimal code, which is RGB. Red, green, blue, and each one like red, not just red, green, blue. We can have different colors system. ورا بالسيارة يعني.
سيارة؟
شغليها أحسن لك أنت. نسيت أشغلها. Okay, so you can define the colors from the beginning. How? You can put the name of the color and the code of the color. Every code of the color consists of 6 numbers. 2, 2, 2, 2 for the red, 2 for RGB. So 2 for green and 2 for blue. These numbers are in hexadecimal. If you need to know what is the number of color you are targeting, that's easy. You can Google it. It will give you, there are many websites giving colors with their codes. So you define a new color. Let's try to get a color RGB code. What color do you want? Something not. أيوة زي ما حكيت لك المرة هذيك. هاتيلي المفتاح. لونج أول شيء المشكلة بسجل يوتيوب. Just a second guys. Sorry for this interrupt. Suppose I want this color here. It's BA12. That's it. So color name equals golden. That's it. This is the color. File, save all, and so on. Later on, you want to use these colors, it will be easy because you just need the name. What else? We have strings. Strings here, we can use it for easily use strings. Anytime you need a caption. String, we will use the strings as captions for tools. What I mean by caption, which means the text. Like you have a label, what text you want to show on the label? This is a string. You have a button, what text you want to show on the button? This is a string. And so on. Radio button, checkbox, whatever. Anytime you need to show a string, you can define strings here. Maybe sometimes we have a long sentence. That is the string, but the string has a name. If you have a long sentence and you want to use it several times, when you define it here, you will start to use the name to represent the text itself. So anytime you need the long text, you don't need to write the text itself. You just need to write the name and the text will be placed. I don't actually personally use the string unless, of course, I am creating a real application, because it's not a must. It's not mandatory that I have to use the string. And we have styles. Besides strings, we have styles. What's the idea of the styles? It's something similar to the CSS. You know what is the CSS? And creating websites, we can use the CSS files to create the style in a separate file, not in the same file where we write the HTML code. Here it's the same idea. This is about values. Mipmap and Drawable, both of them as resources. Do you know if you have images, you can put the images in the Mipmap or you can put the images in the Drawable. Why we have two folders for the images. One is new and one is old. In the old versions of Android, it was drawable. Recently, in the new versions, they added Mipmap because sometimes some versions there is a difference between drawable and Mipmap, and I believe later on they will remove drawable and just keep the Mipmap. One of important files in Android is the manifest file. Every application has manifest file. The manifest file is XML and its name is Android Manifest with A and M in uppercase. Of course, changing the name, it's like losing the file because the system recognizes the manifest through its name. Any change of the spelling, any change of the name means like it's not there. So what's the problem? The problem is this is the configuration file. If this file not available, your application is not working. Why? What does it have? Why it's so important? Let's have a look inside it. It's kind of configuration and identification of what is the version and other attributes of the application. The application allow backup, icon, label, round icon, support. Yeah, it's like the delegate and the Swift. And what? Every activity we create must be defined here. Right now we have one activity only, which is the main activity, and we see the main activity here. Later on, when we create other activities, if we come and look here, we will find activity Android name dot something and activity Android name dot another thing, and so on. The main activity has the intent filter. This tag intent filter with application name, intent action main, and intent category, whatever category launcher. This tag belongs to the launcher activity. So when we see other activities, we will not find intent filter inside them. Intent filter tag will be inside one activity only, the startup or the launcher activity. What else we can put here? We can put permissions, like you want permission to your application to access the internet, or in other words, your application must access the internet, so you have to give it a permission too through the manifest. So we have to come here and write tag especially for permissions. Permission for accessing the internet, permission for using the let's say the Bluetooth, Permission for the Google Maps. If you want to use maps, you need permission here. Permission for the location, to know the location of the device. Permission for what? Special gestures. Permission for accessing the camera. So there are many permissions. We can add them into the manifest upon the need. So the manifest is important. And we have other settings. They called Gradle Scripts. Gradle Scripts, all of these, we often don't change them. They are automatically generated and automatically updated. In let's say, rare reasons, we can change by ourselves. So for now, I don't want you to touch it, just leave it. Let's go to the design, layout, activity main. I'll close the style. This is the activity main here. If I want to run my application, of course, as you know, we need virtual device. The virtual device, which is the emulator, could be found here. Click here. Available devices. Nexus 5X, API 27, Nexus 9, Pixel 3, Pixel. You want to change, add, remove, whatever you want to do, open the AVD Manager. Android Virtual Device Manager. Virtual devices. These are the virtual devices which I have right now. If I want to launch any of them, I can launch it from here. If I want to edit, to change, I can click the edit button here. What do you want? You want to create a new one? Okay, go down here, click create virtual device. I believe it's better in iOS, because in iOS, devices are added automatically. You don't need to bother yourself in adding the simulator or configuring the simulator. Here, no, you have to do it by yourself. You need to add a new virtual device, a new emulator. Okay, go ahead. What type is it? TV, phone, Wear, tablet. You know, these devices are devices with Android operating system. So it depends on what the application you are creating for. We are just, in our course, we are creating for phones. So we will keep with phone. These are different names of emulators and size of the screen for the device. What device you are targeting, this is the screen size and this is the resolution. suppose I want to add foldable. .3 foldable, size large, ratio not long, density full. Okay, next. I don't have the configuration file, so I need to download. I have here two related to the foldable. API 30 and download, which is API 29. Which one do you want? You can choose the one you want and click download. I don't want to download and waste the time, but if you need, guys, you can do it. Right now, we don't need to add any new virtual device. If you want to change the virtual device, you just change it from here. Otherwise, you can just click run. Run is running the application and virtual device and installing the application on the virtual device. Let's leave it and see how to create our design.